Hi, welcome once more to Mr. Max. In this lesson, we are going to revise from November 2017 graphs and functions topic. Okay, November 2017 graphs and functions. So, always, what I'm saying, please download the question paper from our app, or you can download from Department of Education website. Okay, anyway, it is better to have a question paper in front of you and you listen very carefully. At the same time, you have to write also. Okay, it's very important. Don't just watch like a movie. Okay, so then when you write your exam, it is difficult for you to write. Okay, so it's better to write at the same time listen also. Okay, so let's start without wasting time. Question number 4, November 2017. Question number 4, 5, and yeah, that's all. Question number 4 and 5. What is question number 4? Given f of x is equal to, so there is a function given f of x, and what is that function? Minus ax square plus bx plus 6. This is the given function. That's all, nothing else. And based on that one, you have to answer the following questions. The gradient of the tangent to the graph, first question, 4.1. What is 4.1? The gradient of the tangent to the graph of f at the point minus 1 comma 7 over 2 is 3. Show that a is equal to half and b is equal to 2. What is the meaning of that sentence or that question? The gradient of the tangent to the graph of f at the point minus 1 comma 7 over 2. So here look at our given function f of x is equal to minus a x square. What type of function is that? Yeah, it's a quadratic function. Am I right? X square means it's a quadratic function. And what is the shape of that quadratic function? Is it like this or like this? This one or this one? This is the shape. Do you know why? Because here the coefficient of x squared is negative. If the coefficient or the value of a is negative, so it means that this is the shape of the graph. So it means that in our question, this is the shape of the graph. Okay, and this is the given f of x graph. Okay, this is just a rough graph. I think there is a question to, yeah, for question number 4.4, we have to draw that graph neatly with all the points. Okay, so from the given information we know that that is the shape of the graph. Okay, now what else? The gradient of the tangent to the graph of f. So there is a tangent passing through this graph. Tangent means touching only once. Am I right? Okay, and the gradient of that tangent to the graph of f at the point minus 1 comma 7 over 2 is 3. What is the gradient? Gradient is 3. Gradient is 3 means what is the sign? Positive. Okay, so if the gradient is positive, m is equal to 3. This is the gradient of that tangent. Okay, so if the gradient is positive, it means that the tangent is like this. You know, it's an increasing line. Tangent means it's a straight line. Am I right? So since the gradient is positive, it means that it is an increasing line. In case if they gave us minus 3, then we know that it is like this, decreasing line. Okay, so if the gradient is positive, means that the tangent must be somewhere here. Then only if it is here, then we are supposed to draw it like this tangent. But in our case, gradient is positive. That means if the gradient wants to get positive, it means that the tangent is on this side somewhere like this. Okay, now look at that question once more. The gradient of the tangent to the graph of f, here you can see that this is the gradient to the tangent to the graph of f at the point minus 1 comma 7 over 2. So it means that they are saying that at this point, what is the coordinate? Minus 1 comma 7 over 2. Okay, now is 3. That means the gradient of this tangent, it is given directly, it is 3. M is equal to 3. Gradient of that tangent at the point minus 1 comma 7 over 2 is 3. Do you understand what is given? Gradient of the tangent at the point minus 1 comma 7 over 2 is 3. Okay, so that is given, and what do you want to find? Based on that information, you have to find the values of A and B. This A and B. That is the question. Okay, so to do this question, we have to know that probability section. Okay, so then only you can do this type of questions. Okay, so how can you find, now let's go to the probability section. Okay, how can you find the gradient of a tangent passing through a given point? Listen once more. How can you find the gradient of the tangent passing through a given point? What you studied in calculus? Yeah, you have to find the derivative of the given equation. In that derivative, you are supposed to substitute the x value of that touching point. What I said? How can I find the gradient of this tangent? Okay, that is the question. How can I find the gradient of this tangent? How can you find? First you find the derivative of this equation, and in that derivative you have to substitute the value of x, and the answer you are supposed to get is, you are getting is the gradient. Okay, so let me find the derivative first. F dash of x. So what is that one? I hope you already studied calculus. Okay, so this 2 will come here, so it is minus 2a x raised to 1 less than this 2, that is x raised to 1. Okay, these 2 will come here, so minus 2a x raised to 1 less than that 2, that is 1. That's a derivative for method. Okay, that you have to study from calculus section. Okay, then plus bx. What is the derivative of bx? Derivative of bx is b. 6 constant term. What is the derivative of the constant term? It is 0. So it means that this is the derivative, minus 2ax plus b. Okay, in this minus 2ax plus b, when you substitute the x value, we are supposed to get the gradient. Okay, so just try to substitute x is equal to, what is the x value there? Minus 1. At that point x value is minus 1. So what is going to happen? Minus 2a into minus 1 plus b is equal to, when you after you substitute the x value, what you are supposed to get? The gradient. But in this question they already given that the gradient is 3. Am I right? Look at that question. The gradient of the tangent etc etc is 3. That means the gradient of this line is tangent is already given, that is this 3. So it means that after we substitute the x value as minus 1 in this derivative, we are supposed to get the gradient, the answer as gradient. But here in this question we know that the answer is, the gradient is 3. Do you understand? Okay, so my minus 2a into minus 1, that is minus into minus is positive, 2 into 1 is 2, so it is 2a plus b is equal to 3. So here we got one equation number 1. How many marks for that question, guys? 5 marks. That means you have to do something there. Okay, so we got one equation. Now listen very carefully. Now leave all the gradient and tangent and everything. Okay, this point is a point on that function. Am I right? This point is a point on this quadratic function. Am I right? So we know the equation of the quadratic function, f of x is equal to minus ax square plus bx plus 6. So since this point is a point on this quadratic function, we can substitute the x value as minus 1 and y value as 7 over 2. Am I right? This point is a point on that quadratic function. Agreed? Okay. So what is the meaning of that? We can substitute the x value and y value in that equation of that quadratic graph. Okay, so let me write this one. F of x, you know that f of x is the same as y is equal to minus ax square plus bx plus 6. Okay, so y and x, what we can substitute? Minus 1, and this is x, this is y. We can substitute that value here in this equation because that point is a point on that this graph. Okay, so y, what is y? 7 over 2 is equal to minus a into x minus 1 square. I'm going to substitute x and y, plus b into x is minus 1 plus 6. Okay, so it is 7 over 2 is equal to minus 1 square, positive 1. Positive 1 into minus a, that is minus a. Minus 1 square is 1. Okay, but minus a into 1 is minus a. Then b into minus 1 is plus into minus, minus b plus 6. So now take this 6 to this side. Okay, or take a minus a and minus b to this side, and this 7 over 2 to the other side. Okay, so what is that one? Minus a to this side, that is positive a, minus b to this side, that is positive b, is equal to, there is a 6 there. Now you have to take this 7 over 2 to the other side, so it is minus 7 over 2. Okay, so what is the answer now? A plus b is equal to, what is the LCM here? 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 7, or you can use your calculator, no problem. Okay, so anyway, you have to find the answer of that one. So 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 7, 5. 5 over 2. Okay, so now we can't leave the answer like this. Here this 2 is in the denominator, so we can multiply with this numerator. So look at what I am going to do. 2 into a plus b is equal to 5. I multiply these two here. Okay, so now expand the bracket. What is that one? 2 into a is 2a plus 2 into b is 2b is equal to 5. And there we got the second equation, equation number 2. So now we got two equation, 2a plus b is equal to 3 and 2a plus 2b is equal to 5. Okay, so pause, those who didn't write this one, pause the video. Okay, and write this one first. Okay, now I'm going to erase this part. Is 2a plus b is equal to 3, and the second equation is 2a plus 2b is equal to 5. So we got two equations, 2a plus b is equal to 3 and 2a plus 2b is equal to 5. Okay, now we have to simplify these equations. So how can we simplify this one? This is our equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. How can we simplify this one easily? What is the name of this type of simplification? Is not this one simultaneous equation? Okay, so we have to solve this one simultaneously. Okay, so which one is the easy method? Normal, maybe some of you think that this b from the first equation we can write b is equal to 3 minus 2a, then substitute this one in this equation. Am I right? You can do like that also, no problem, you will get the correct answer. Okay, but so that is a too time consuming. We are getting only 5 marks, so why should we waste too much time for that 5 marks? Okay, so what I am going to do is equation number 2 minus equation number 1. So what is going to happen? 2a minus 2a, we have to subtract term by term. Okay, so what is 2a minus 2a? 2a minus 2a is 0. Okay, 2b minus b, 2b minus b is b, 2b minus 1b, 2 minus 1 is 1, 1b. Okay, now is equal to 5 minus 3, it is 2. So 0 plus b is b, b is equal to 2. There we got the answer. Okay, so what I did, equation number 2 minus equation number 1. Now next we have to substitute this equation in any one of the equation. Okay, so we can substitute in equation number 1. Substitute in equation number 1. So what is that one? 2a plus b. What is a b? 2 is equal to 3. Take these 2 to the other side. So it is 2a is equal to 3 minus 2. Am I right? So it is 1. So what is a? A is equal to 1 over 2. So we got the value of a as 1 over 2 and b as 2. Okay. Look at the question 3.1. I mean 4.1. What we want to show? A is equal to 1 over 2 and b is equal to 2. We got the answer. Okay. That is question number 4.1. Now let's go to question number 4.2. What is question number 4.2, guys? Calculate the x-intercepts of f. You have to find the x-intercept of f. So now what is the value of a and b? A is half and b is equal to 2. So now what is our f of x? F of x is equal to a. A minus a is half. Half x square plus b is 2. 2x plus 6. So now our equation is minus half x square plus 2x plus 6. Okay. Now what is this question? Calculate the x-intercept of f of x graph. So that's a simple question. You study that from small classes. At x-intercept, what is the y value? Y is equal to 0. At x-intercept, the value of y is 0. So this f of x is the same as y. So let me write that equation once more. Y is equal to minus half x square plus 2x plus 6. So what is the y value? At x-intercept, y is 0. So 0 is equal to minus half x square plus 2x plus 6. So here first we can avoid these 2. How can you avoid these 2? We have to take the LCM of this one. Okay, so 0 is equal to, if I take a 2 as a LCM, okay, so take the shortcut method. Okay, now you are in grade 12. This 2 is the here, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1 times minus, that is a method. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1 times minus 1, minus 1 x square or minus x square. Okay, minus 1 x squared is the same as minus x square. Then here it is 1, here it is 1. So 2 divided by 1 is 2. 2 times 2x is 4x. I hope you know that method. Okay, grade 7 method, LCM. Okay, 2 divided by 1 is 2. 2, that answer 2 times 6, that is 12. Okay, so minus x square plus 4x plus 12. Now here if I cross multiply this one, 2 times 0, this 2 is in the denominator here. If I want to take to the right side, I'm supposed to multiply here. This is division, here it is multiplication. So what is 0 times 2? It is 0. So 0 is equal to minus x square plus 4x plus 12. Take everything to the left side. So what is going to happen? Minus x squared, x square minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. Factorize this one. What are the factors, guys? X product is minus 12, sum is minus 4. Is it not minus 6 and plus 2? You have to know this one, and those who doesn't know this factorization, you have to watch from algebra section and study that one. Okay, minus 6 into 2 is minus 12, minus 6 plus 2 is minus 4. So what is the meaning of that? It means that either x minus 6 is equal to 0 or this x plus 2 is equal to 0. So take this minus 6 to the other side. So x is equal to 6 and x is equal to, take this 2 to the other side. So it is minus 2. So now we got two values of x. One is 6 and the other one is minus 2. So what are the x-intercept? 6 comma 0 and minus 2 comma, x-intercept y value is, what we said, x-intercept y value is 0. So what are the x-intercept? 6 comma 0 and minus 2 comma 0. So that is question number 4.2. Let's go to question number 4.3. Question number 4.3. Question number 4.3. So on the previous question number 4.2, we already got the x-intercepts. Am I right? Okay. And we know the shape of the graph is like this. Okay. So let me try to draw that graph once more. So there is a y-axis and x-axis, and here we got the x-intercepts of the graph. Okay, so my 6 comma 0 and minus 2 comma, so let's say this is minus 2, this is minus 2, and this one is 6. Now the graph is supposed to come like this. Okay, so can you say what is our equation now? F of x is equal to this one. We already got the values of a, b, c. So y is equal to minus 1 over 2 x square. What is the value of b we got? What is the value of b we got? 2, 2x plus 6. Can you say here what is the y-intercept? Y-intercept is this 6. Am I right? You studied in grade 10 class. The y-intercept of this graph is this constant term, or at y-intercept value of x is equal to 0. Substitute x is equal to 0 minus half into 0 square plus 2 into 0 plus 6. What is the answer? 0, 0, 6. That means y-intercept is y-intercept. What is the value of x? 0. Substitute 0, 0, 0, then 6. That means y-intercept is 6. So it means that the y-intercept of this graph is somewhere here, and assume that that is 6. Okay, so here x-intercept minus 2 and 6, and y-intercept is 6. Okay, now let's come back to this question 4.8. Now our question is not to draw the graph 4.3. Okay, 4.4 is to draw the graph. Okay, so what is our question? Before I draw that graph, okay, I want to know something else, because here I can't just draw the graph connecting these 3 points, because I want to know exactly where is the, if this is the shape of the graph. Okay, these are the x-intercept, and somewhere, maybe somewhere here, that is 6. Okay, it is not the turning point. Don't misunderstand like that. Okay, always it is not like exactly this 6 is the turning point, not like that. Okay, so I have to know what is the turning point here, that what is the coordinate of that turning point. And this question 4.3 is, what is the question 4.3? Calculate the coordinates of the turning point of f, and that's the question. You have to find the coordinate of that turning point. Okay, so how can we find the turning point coordinate? It's very easy. Turning point of a graph lies between these two x-intercept, on the middle of that minus 2 and 6. Turning point of a graph lies between these two, or the middle of that two points. Okay, x value. So how can you find the middle of this one? X value, x is equal to minus, the midpoint formula. Okay, minus 2 plus 6 divided by 2. Minus 2 plus 6 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. It means that the x value is somewhere here. Okay, and the y-intercept is this one. Okay, so x value of that turning point is 2. How do you get 2? Turning point is x value of the turning point is the middle of these two x-intercept. That means minus 2 plus 6 divided by 2, that is 2. Okay, now how can you find the y value of that turning point? You substitute these two in the original equation. Okay, so therefore y is equal to minus half into 2 square plus, I'm substituting these x's 2 here. Okay, so 2 into 2 plus 6. Check in your calculator what is the answer of that one. 4 divided by 2 is 2, minus 2 plus 4 plus 6, 10 minus 2, that is 8. So you can check in your calculator also. Okay, so y value is equal to 8. So what is the x value? X value is 2. X value, how do you get? The half of middle of this minus 2 and 6. So minus 2 plus 6 divided by 2. That is 2. Then substitute that x is equal to 2 in original equation. You will get a y value. So what is the meaning of that? Therefore, turning point is equal to, what is x value? 2. What is the y value? 8. 2 comma 8. Now we can mark exactly to 8 is somewhere here. Assume that this is 8. So 2 comma 8 is somewhere here. This is 2 comma 8. Now we can draw the graph. This is the, so here you can see that x-intercept is minus 2 and 6, y-intercept is 6, and the turning point is 2 comma 8. Okay, so here try to understand, this is one method to find the turning point. Okay, maybe some of you already studied another method. Okay, you can apply, in maths not only one method, you can apply any method. So only thing is, within the mathematics rule you can apply any method, doesn't matter. Okay, so there is another method some of you studied. This is our equation, am I right? This is our equation. Okay, in this equation, a is minus half, b is 2, and c is 6. You know that one. Okay, and there is a formula maybe you studied, x is equal to find the x value. I'm talking about the x value. Okay, x value of this turning point, that means these 2. Okay, there's a formula you studied like this, minus b divided by 2a. So what is that one? Minus, this minus is this one, b. What is b? 2 divided by 2 into a. A is minus 1 over 2. Okay, so these 2 and these 2 cancel. So minus 2 divided by minus 1. What is minus 2 divided by minus 1? That is 2. Can you see you got the same answer here? Okay, so you can apply this formula also to find the x value of the turning point. So here also, after you find the x value of the turning point, you have to substitute like this. This x value you have to substitute in the original equation. Then you will get the y value. Okay, so both methods we can find either minus 2 plus 6 divided by 2. 4 by 2, 2. That is a x value. Then substitute that one, or this formula method. Okay, so anyway, that is for question number 4.3. Now what is the question number 4.4? Sketch the graph of f, clearly indicate all intercept with the axis and the turning point. Question number 4.4, we already done that one. This is question number 4.4. What is that one? Sketch the graph of f of x. So this is the graph of f of x. Clearly show all the intercept. Did we show all the intercept? This is the x-intercepts. These are the x-intercepts. And this is the y-intercept. And this is the turning point. Okay, so we done with that question number 4.4. Question number 4.5. Okay, question number 4.5. 4.5. Okay, what is question number 4.5? Use the graph, use that graph, okay, to determine the values of x. You have to find the values of x. Where is this x values? This x-axis. You have to find the values of x for which f of x is greater than 6. What is the condition? F of x is greater than 6. You have to find the values of x, and what is the condition? F of x is greater than 6. What is the meaning of this f of x? How can we write f of x? You know that f of x is the same as y. Okay, so this y is greater than 6. So it means that you have to find the values of x, and what is the condition? Y is greater than 6. Where is this y greater than 6? Y greater than 6 means, is it not this? This is y6, am I right? Y greater than 6 means above this 6. Okay, so above this one, let me draw a line like this. Okay, y greater than 6 means above that 6, above that red line. Okay, so it means that you have to find the value of or values of x where y is greater than 6. So at this point, what is the x value? It is 0. Okay, then which point is y greater than 0, guys? Which point, which area is y greater than 0? Y greater than 0 means that, I mean, y greater than 6. Y greater than 6 means, is it not this one? This is the area where y greater than 6. Above that red line, y greater. This red line is, this is 6, and above that red line is y greater than 6. Okay, so that means this part. So what is the x value of that part? That's the question. Here, what is the x value? It is 0. So here we don't know what is the x value. We have to write like that, because the answer we are going to write 0 less than x less than something. What is that something? The x value of this point. X value of this point. Between 0 and that point, we can say that y is greater than 6. Okay, so how can you find that point? That touching point, this one. If we know this point, then we can immediately write the answer, final answer, 0 less than x less than that point. Between that 2 points, y is greater than 6. Okay, so here this is the turning point, and what is the name of this line passing through the turning point? Is it not that the axis of symmetry? Okay, axis of symmetry is passing through the turning point. So what is the meaning of, what is this point? What is this one? Axis of symmetry. What is the meaning of axis of symmetry? Between two halves of the axis of symmetry, it's an equal length. So it means that this is the axis of symmetry. What is the x value there? 2. Okay, and here this distance and this distance are equal, because that line is the axis of symmetry passing through the turning point. So here, what is this distance? That is the same as this one. What is that one? This distance is 2. So here, this distance, the remaining distance is also supposed to be 2. Am I right? Okay, so if we take, this is 2, so what is this one? This is also 2. So what is the x value of this point? It is supposed to be 4. Am I right? This distance is 2, because here this one is 2. Okay, so what is this distance? That is also supposed to be 2, because that is the axis of symmetry. So this is 2. So what is the total distance? 4. It means that here the x value is 4. So what we can write the answer? 0 less than x less than 4. Between x value 0 and 4, y is greater than, or y is the same as f of x. Okay, or f of x is the same as y. Okay, y is greater than 6. Okay, so listen once more. F of x is greater than, you have to find the value of x where f of x is greater than 6. That is the question. Okay, f of x, we know that it is y. So you have to find the value of x where y is greater than 6. Okay, y greater than 6. This is y6. Greater than 6 means above that red line. Okay, above the red line, what is this one? This part. Okay, that means from here to here, y is greater than 6. Above 6. Okay, so at this point, what is x value? 0. So now we have to find what is the x value of this point. How can we find? This is the axis of symmetry. So you have to know that this distance and this distance are the same. Here, what is x value? 2. It means that this distance is 2. So this distance is also supposed to be 2. So what is the x value at this point? 4. So what is the answer? 0 less than x less than 4. Okay, so that is question number 4.5. Now let's go to question number 5. Hey, I'm sorry, there is one more question there. Question number 4.6. Sketch the graph of g of x is equal to minus x minus 1 on the same set of axes as f. Clearly indicate all intercepts with the axis. So there is another question there, another graph you have to draw. Okay, on the same set of axes. Okay, so let me erase this one and draw once more that graph. Then after that we can continue. Okay, That is question number 4.6. Okay, question number 4.5. What is that question? Sketch the graph of g of x is equal to minus x minus 1 on the same set of axes as f. Clearly indicate all intercepts with the axis. Okay, so you have to sketch this graph g of x is equal to minus x minus 1. Okay, so here what type of graph is this g of x? X power is 1. That means it's a linear graph or a straight line graph. Am I right? Okay, so anyway we have to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay, so at x-intercept, what is the y value? Y is equal to 0. So try to find y is equal, let me write that equation once more. Y is equal to minus x minus 1. What is the y value at x-intercept? 0. So it is 0 is equal to minus x minus 1. Take this minus x to this side. So it is positive x is equal to minus 1. So x value is minus 1. So what is the coordinate? Coordinate is equal to minus 1 comma 0. So that is the x-intercept. Now how can you find the y-intercept? There is no need to write the y-intercept. You know that y-intercept is this minus 1. Okay, anyway, just those who doesn't understand, at y-intercept value of x is equal to 0. So what is that one? Let me write the equation once more. Y is equal to minus x minus 1. Y is equal to, what is the x value? 0. So minus 1. So 0 minus 1 is minus 1. So what is the coordinate? Coordinate is equal to x value 0 and y value minus 1. So now we got both the coordinates minus 1 comma 0. Where is this x minus 1? X minus 1 means somewhere here. This is minus 1. And 0 minus 1. X 0, y minus 1. That means somewhere here. So there is another graph passing through that 2 points, minus 1 and these 2 points. Okay, minus 1 and this minus 1 and this minus 1. And the equation of this one is g of x is equal to minus x minus 1. That straight line is g of x is equal to minus x minus 1. Is it not a grade 10 question, this one? Okay, anyway, next question, 4.7. Question number 4.7. This is not 4. This is 4.6, not 4.5. Question number 4.7. What is that question? Question number 4.7. Write down the values of x for which f of x into g of x is less than or equal to 0. You have to find the values of x. Okay, and what is the condition? F of x times g of x is less than or equal to 0. You have to find the values of x where f of x times g of x is less than or equal to 0. So guys, what is the meaning of that one? F of x times, find the values of x. Anyway, we have to find the values of x. Okay, and what is the condition? F of x times g of x is less than or equal to 0 means what? Negative. Okay, so here two quantities are multiplied or two graphs are multiplied and the answer is negative. So if you want to, when two numbers are multiplied, if you want the answer as negative, so it means that either the first one must be positive and the second one be negative. Then only positive times negative, you will get a negative answer. Or what is the option? The first one must be negative and the second one must be positive. Then also you will get a negative. Negative times positive is negative. Okay, so now in the case of graph, what is positive and what is negative means? If the graph is, try to understand like this, if the graph, this is the x-axis, am I right? This is the x-axis. Okay, if the graph is above x-axis, that is positive. If the graph is below x-axis, that is negative. Do you understand? If the graph is above x-axis, it is positive. If the graph is below x-axis, it is negative. So it means that to get a negative answer, okay, one graph must be on positive above x-axis and one graph must be on below x-axis. It can't be both the graphs above x-axis or both the graphs below x-axis. We can't take that because we want the negative answer. That means one graph must be above x-axis and the other graph must be below x-axis. Or first graph, either f of x must be above x-axis and g of x must be below x-axis, or f of x must be below x-axis and g of x must be above x-axis. Okay, now let's see what where are those things. Okay, so here look at this one. At this point, what is the x value? At that point, the x value is, sorry, at that point the x value is -2. Do you agree that? Okay, at this point the x value is -2. So let me draw a line here passing through that -2 like this. Okay, so what is happening before that -2? Where is our f of x graph? This is f of x graph. Is it I'm talking about before that -2, that red line. Okay, where is f of x graph? It is below x-axis. Am I right? This is the x-axis. Okay, and where is g of x graph? This is g of x graph. Am I right? So g of x graph is above x-axis. That means when x is less than, here it is equal to, so it is when x is less than or equal to, sorry, when x is less than or equal to -2, when x is less than or equal to -2, you can see that one graph is below x-axis and the other graph is above x-axis. Okay, is there any other point like that? What about here? This is above x-axis. Am I right? The blue one above x-axis. What about the black one? Black one is also above x-axis. That means this is positive and this one is also positive. Positive times positive is positive. We don't want that one. Am I right? Okay, we want one positive and one negative, one above x-axis and one below x-axis. So what about here at this point? Okay, at this point let me draw a line there. Okay, what is the x value there? -1. Okay, so after that -1 up to this 6. Okay, so listen very carefully. What is the x value here? X value here, it is -1. Okay, so after -1, listen very carefully, after -1, where is our f of x graph? This is our f of x graph. Am I right? Is it above x-axis or below x-axis? Definitely it is above x-axis. Am I right? And where is our g of x graph? Straight line graph. This one. This is our g of x graph. That is below x-axis. At what value of x? After this -1. Okay. So after -1, f graph, the black graph is above x-axis and the blue graph is below x-axis. Okay, now after, so up to this 6 also you can see that here this graph is above x-axis, black graph is above x-axis, and where is our blue graph? Here, that is below x-axis. But after 6, what is happening? After this 6, what is happening? Where is our f of x graph? Below x-axis, and g of x is also below x-axis. That means we can't take this one. Below x-axis means this is negative and this is negative. Negative times negative is positive. So it means that between -1 and 6, second one, between -1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 6, between -1 and 6, we can say that above x-axis and below x-axis. So there are two answers. One is x less than or equal to -2, and the other one is -1 less than x less than or equal to x less than or equal to 6. Okay. So that is question number 4.7. Now let's go to question number 5. Okay, question number 5. Question number 5. What is that one? The diagram below shows the graph of g of x is equal to 2 divided by x plus p plus q, and f of x is equal to log x to the base 3. Y is equal to -1 is the horizontal asymptote of g. B 1 comma 0 is the x-intercept of f, and a t comma. Okay, after we draw that graph, then we can explain that one. Okay, so let me draw that graph first. Okay, now look at this question. The diagram below shows the graph of g of x is equal to 2 divided by x plus p plus q, and f of x is equal to log x to the base 3. So there are two graphs given. One is g of x is equal to let me write it here. G of x is equal to 2 divided by x plus p, and that's all, plus q. 2 divided by x plus p plus q, and f of x is equal to, is a logarithmic graph, that is log x to the base 3. Okay, so there are two graphs given, f of x and g of x. G of x is equal to 2 divided by x plus p plus q. What type of graph is that g of x? Is it not a hyperbolic graph, that one? 2 divided by x plus p, that means it's a x is in the denominator, is a hyperbolic graph. Okay, and the other one is a logarithmic graph, or that is the inverse of exponential graph. Okay, so f of x is equal to log x to the base 3. So here you can see that this is our g of x graph. Can you see that this is two parts? Okay, now, and this one is the f of x graph, this one. Okay, so there are two graphs given. Then they are saying that y is equal to -1 is one horizontal asymptote, and b 1 comma 0 is the x-intercept of f. Here you can see that this is the x-axis, and on this logarithmic graph, this point is the x-intercept, b 1 comma 0. Then a t comma 1 is a point of intersection of f and g. So here you can see that this f graph and this g graph intersect at this point, and they call that point as a t comma 1. Then the vertical asymptote of g intersect the x-axis at the point E. This is the vertical asymptote of the hyperbolic graph. Okay, and that one intersect at the point x-intercept is E. Okay, and the horizontal asymptote at D, horizontal asymptote intersect at D. Okay, OB is equal to BE, that is very important. Okay, so it is given that OB, this length OB and BE, these length are equal, that is also given. Okay, so based on these informations, we have to write the remaining questions. Okay, first question, write down the range of G. First question is to find the range of G. The range of G, question number 5.1. How can you find the range? What is the meaning of range? Range means y value. Okay, so look at this g of x graph. It is going up like this, am I right? Okay, there is no end, it is going there. Okay, and look at this g of x graph, this part, it is going down. That means it is straight going up and down, except which one? The asymptote. Do you remember that one? Except which one is the asymptote of this g of x graph? this y is equal to minus 1 is the, at that y is equal to minus 1, this is minus 1. Okay, on this y is equal to minus 1 there is no graph. Okay, that means y can take any real number, okay, except which y value, y is equal to minus 1, because that is the asymptote. Okay, so how can you write the range? Range is equal to set y such that, okay, y is an element of R where y not equal to minus 1. Okay, so what is the meaning? Don't be afraid when you see something like this. Okay, it's a simple meaning. The value of y is, y can take any real number, y is an element of R. Okay, and what is the condition? Y is not equal to minus 1. Why we can say that y not equal to minus 1? Because y is equal to minus 1 is the asymptote of this hyperbolic graph. Okay, so y is not equal to minus 1. That is question number 5.1. Okay, let's go to question number 5.2. What is question number 5.2? Determine the equation of g. You have to find the equation of g of x. What is our g of x graph? G of x is equal to equation 2 divided by x plus p plus q. Okay, and you have to find the equation of g. Equation of g means that you have to find the values of this p and q. That's all. Okay, so what is this q stands for? Q stands for the horizontal asymptote. What is q stands for? Horizontal asymptote. What is the meaning of that one? If this is the graph, then that q stands for horizontal asymptote. So here okay, this one is the horizontal asymptote, that is this q. This is q, y is equal to q, that is the equation of the horizontal asymptote. And what is this p stands for? P stands for the vertical asymptote. That means this one. Okay, this is p, or this value here, it is the value of x, that is p. Okay, so now before I write p and q, q is very easy. I told you q is the horizontal asymptote. It is given in the question that this point, what is the y value? Horizontal asymptote, the dotted line, what is the y value? Y is equal to minus 1. That means y value, the value of q is minus 1. There is no problem. Okay, but what about this vertical asymptote? So now this is the vertical asymptote, is it not so? Okay, and we don't know what is the x value at this point. It is not given anywhere. Okay, so we have to find what is that x value. Okay, so look at your question, last bullet. It is given that this OB and BE are equal in length. Am I right? So what is the length of OB? What is the coordinate of B? 1, 0, x value 1. X value 1 means this length is 1. So what about this length? That is also 1, because it is given in the question that OB and BE are equal. So if this length is 1, it means this one is also 1. So what is the x value of this point E? It is 2, 0. You understand? 1 plus 1, 2. That means this length is OE. This length is 2, or the x coordinate of that point E is 2. Okay, so x coordinate of that point is 2, means that here what is the x value? It is 2. That horizontal vertical asymptote, the x value is 2. Okay, so now you can come back and write this equation. Okay, so what is our equation? G of x is equal to 2 divided by x. What is this p? Is a vertical asymptote. So what is a vertical asymptote here? It is positive 2. So what you studied in your class, you are supposed to write minus 2. If on the graph, if it is positive 2, okay, then here you are supposed to write minus 2. Okay, but horizontal asymptote, there is no change. What is a horizontal asymptote? Okay, horizontal asymptote, it is minus 1. So there is no need to change this to my plus. Horizontal asymptote is minus. So it means that This one is you have to write as -1. Okay, the only change is this one. When you write the vertical asymptote on the graph, if it is 2, here in the equation you have to write -2. Okay, but in the case of horizontal asymptote, if here it is -1, here also you have to write as -1. Okay, so then now let me ask one thing. 2 divided by x minus 2, if you want to draw that graph, what is the vertical asymptote where you are going to draw? Here it is -2, so in the on the graph, on the reverse way, okay, on the graph you are supposed to draw on positive 2, not on the negative 2 side. You understand? So on the equation, if it is -2, when you are drawing on the graph, you have to draw the asymptote on positive 2. On the graph, if it is positive 2, if you are writing the equation, then you have to write it -2. But don't change anything for the horizontal asymptote. If here it is minus, here also it is minus. If here it is positive, here also it is positive. So anyway, our equation is 2 divided by x minus 2 minus 1. That is question number 5.2. Now let's go to question number 5.3. Question number 5.3. What is question number 5.3? Calculate the value of t. You have to find the value of this t. How can you find the value of t, guys? So that point t is not a point on this f of x graph. Of course, it is a point on g of x also. Okay, so let's consider the simple one. That point t is a point on this logarithmic graph, this f of x graph. Okay, so let me write that f of x here. F of x is the same as y is equal to log x to the base 3. Okay, now that point is a point on, that point a is a point on this f of x graph. So it means that I can substitute the value of x as t and y as 1. So I am going to substitute y. What is at that point a? What is the y value? 1. 1 is equal to log x. What is x? It is t to the base 3. Okay. Now, do you remember what is the logarithmic rule? How can you write this as an exponent? This base 3 raised to 1, it is very easy to remember, and that is this t. What I said? This t is equal to this base raised to this one, 3 raised to 1. This base raised to 1, that is 3 raised to 1 is equal to t. 3 raised to 1 is the same as 3. That means the value of t is equal to 3. How many marks for that question? 3 marks. Okay, so the value of t is equal to 3. Okay, let me ask another question. In case okay, y is equal to log or let me write a number. Okay, log log x to the base 5 is equal to 7. What is x? What is this x? So this x is equal to this base 5 raised to this power 7. Do you understand? Okay, so this is how you want to write the logarithm. This x is equal to I'm not saying that this is correct. I'm just giving an example, that's all. Okay, so x, the way that you want to write the value of x, that's here. Okay, not the values are correct or wrong. Okay, so x is equal to this base 5 raised to 7. Okay, that is how you want to write. Okay, so here 1 is equal to log t to the base 3. That means t is equal to this base 3 raised to 1. 3 raised to 1 is 3. Okay, so that is question number 5.3. Now let's go to 5.4. So what is t? T value is 3. Now 5.4. Question number 5.4. What is that question? Write down the equation of f inverse, the inverse of f in the form of y is equal to. So now what is our equation f of x? Our equation f of x is log x to the base 3. That is our equation. Okay, and here you have to write f inverse. Okay, so before I write f inverse, just try to understand this f of x is the same as, it's a function, so it's the same as y. So y is equal to log x to the base 3. Okay, I didn't start writing the inverse. Okay, so here from here, what is x? This x, I told you in the previous question, x is equal to 3 raised to y, this base raised to y, am I right? Okay, so x is equal to 3 raised to y. Okay, now look at the question once more. Write down the equation of f inverse. You have to find what is f inverse. Write down the equation of f inverse. Okay, the inverse of f in the form of y is equal to. So how can you write the inverse of this one? This logarithmic graph, we wrote it like exponents. Okay, now question is, this is actually f of x graph. Okay, so we have to write the inverse. So how can you write inverse graph? It's very easy, you just swap x and y. Okay, so instead of this y you have to write x, instead of this x you have to write y. So what is that one? 3 raised to x is equal to y, or y is equal to 3 raised to x. That's all. What I said, to find f inverse you swap x and y. So y as x and x as y. So what is the equation? 3 raised to x is equal to y, or y is equal to 3 raised to x. Okay, so listen once more. F of x is the same as y. Y is equal to log x to the base 3. So now how can you write this one is in exponential form? This x is equal to 3 raised to y. So this one is still f of x graph. Okay, now we are going to find f inverse. This is f of x graph, this one. Okay, so now we are going to find f inverse. What you have to do for f inverse? You swap x and y. So this is the answer. Okay, so that is question number 5.4. Now let's go to question number 5.5. Question number 5.5. What is that question? For which values of x f inverse of x is less than 3? You have to find the values of x. For which values of x? And what is the kind of question? F inverse of x is less than 3. F inverse of x is less than 3. F inverse of x is less than 3. You have to find the value of x. Look at the previous question. The question was to find f inverse, equation of f inverse. Do you remember that one? What is the equation of f inverse we got? Y is equal to 3 raised to x. This is the equation of f inverse we got. Okay, so now this question is, you have to find the value of x where f inverse of x is less than 3. From the previous question we know that f inverse of x is 3 raised to x. So instead of this f inverse of x, we can write it as 3 raised to x is less than 3, because we know that f inverse of x is 3 raised to x. Okay, so now 3 means 3 raised to 1. So what is the meaning of that? X is, bases are the same, so x is less than 1. Okay, so the value of x, you have to find the value of x or values of x. So f inverse of x is less than 3. What is f inverse of x from the previous question? 3 raised to x. So we can write 3 raised to x is less than 3. 3 means 3 raised to 1. So here the bases are the same, so we can equate the powers, that is x is less than 1. Okay, that is question number 5.5. now let's go to question number 5.6. Question number 5.6. Question number 5.6. What is that one? Determine the point of intersection of the graph of f and the axis of symmetry of g that has a negative gradient. Wow, what is the meaning of that one, guys? Determine the point of intersection of the graph of f. Which one is our graph? This logarithmic graph. Okay, so you have to find the point of intersection of this f of x graph or this logarithmic graph and the axis of symmetry of g that has a negative gradient. So before I explain that one, try to understand here. I want to explain something here. This is our x and y axis. Okay, assume that this is the x axis and y axis. Now you know that this is the asymptote. Okay, and this is another asymptote. This is the point where both the asymptote intersect. Okay, so in the case of a graph, okay, so this is the, assume that this is the hyperbolic graph, that one. Okay, so in the case of a graph, hyperbolic graph, actually there are two axes of symmetry. One axis of symmetry is this one. Anyway, try to understand that both the axes of symmetry passing through the intersection point of that asymptotes. Okay, here you can see that this asymptote and this asymptote intersect at this point. Okay, so the axis of symmetry, this is the axis of symmetry, okay, passing through the intersecting point. Okay, and this is the second axis of symmetry passing through the same intersecting point. Okay, so both the axes of symmetry passing through the intersecting point of the asymptote. Do you understand that one? Okay, so here you can see that this axis of symmetry is a straight line. Am I right? Okay, so this axis of symmetry is decreasing. That means what is the gradient of that line? Since the graph is decreasing, the gradient is negative. Am I right? So this one is an axis of symmetry having negative gradient, and this one is an axis of symmetry having positive gradient. You understand? Axis of symmetry passes through the intersecting point of the asymptote, that is this one. This is one asymptote, this is another asymptote, this is the intersecting point. Okay, and this is one axis of symmetry and this is another axis of symmetry. Okay, so which one is axis of symmetry having negative gradient? This is the axis of symmetry having negative gradient because this is decreasing. Okay, this is the axis of symmetry having positive gradient. Okay, now in our question, look at our question. Determine the point of intersection of the graph of f. Determine the point of intersection of the graph of f and the axis of symmetry that has a negative gradient. So axis of symmetry, this is the point where two, this is the point where two asymptote intersect. Am I right? Okay, so axis of symmetry is supposed to pass through that point. Do you agree? I already explained that one. Okay, so there is having negative gradient. That means there is an axis of symmetry passing like this, okay, and this is this green dotted line represent the axis of symmetry. Okay, so okay, this line is the axis of symmetry having negative gradient. Here you can see that this axis of symmetry passing through this intersecting point. Okay, and it is negative gradient. And what is the question? You have to find the point of intersection of this f graph and the axis of symmetry. Okay, so here you can see that this f graph and this axis of symmetry are intersecting at this point. Okay, yeah, I can see that some of you already are saying that this point b is 1 comma 0. Okay, but we have to prove that one, it is 1 comma 0. We can't just say that because we draw like that, so it is 1 comma 0. Okay, so first we have to prove that this f graph and this axis of symmetry negative gradient intersect at this point. Okay, anyway, we know that b 1 comma 0 is a point on this f graph. Am I right? Okay, so we just want to say, listen once more. We know that this b1 comma 0 is a point on this f graph. Okay, so we just want to prove that this b1 comma 0 is a point on this axis of symmetry also. Then we done, because that is a common point now, point of intersection. Okay, so now first I'm going to find what is the equation of that axis of symmetry, that green line. What is the equation of that axis of symmetry? What is the gradient? Gradient is negative. So how can you write the general equation? How can you write the general equation? Y is equal to minus x plus q. Why it is negative? Because it's a negative gradient. Okay, and what is this q stands for? Y intercept. Okay, so now what is this one? At this point, what is the x value? This is the point D. They call this point as D. What is the x value at this point? Look at this. Is it not this 2? Okay, so it means that at that point it is 2, x value is 2, and what is the y value? It is minus 1. That means at this point x value is 2 and y value is minus 1, and our axis of symmetry is passing through that point D, 2 comma minus 1. So what we can do here? Yeah, we can substitute that x and y value here. Y is equal to, that means minus 1 is equal to minus x. What is x? 2 plus q. Okay, there is no need to write that bracket there. Doesn't matter if you write it or not. Okay, so minus x value is 2, that is minus 2 plus q. So take this minus 2 to this side, so it is minus 1 plus 2 is equal to q. Okay, so minus 1 plus 2 is 1 is equal to q. So it means that q is equal to 1. So now what is our equation? Therefore y is equal to minus x plus 1. Okay, now try to find the x-intercept of that graph. Try to find the x-intercept. We have to check this point 1 comma 0 is a point on that asymptote. Okay, so at x-intercept y is equal to 0. I'm trying to find the x-intercept of that line, the one that we found now. Okay, so what is x? Y is equal to 0. What is that one? 0 is equal to minus x plus 1. So it means that take this minus x to this side, so x is equal to positive 1. So therefore coordinate is x1 y 0. So now we know that this 1 comma 0 is a point on the axis of symmetry also. Listen once more. We already know that, or it is given in the question, that this point B is a point on this f of x graph. Am I right? It is given in the question. Now what we proved? We proved that this same point 1 comma 0 is a point on this axis of symmetry also. What is the meaning of that? That point 1 comma 0 is a common point or intersecting point of that f of x graph and the axis of symmetry. Okay, so it implies that b1 comma 0 is the point of intersection of f of x and axis of symmetry. Okay, so listen once more. It is given in the question that this b1 comma 0 is a point on f of x. Now what we proved? We proved that this 1 comma 0 is a point on this axis of symmetry having negative gradient also. So it means that this b1 comma 0 is a intersecting point of that f of x and axis of symmetry. Okay, so that is question number 5.6, and that's the end of November 2017. So hope you understand. Okay, keep on watch again, and if you have any doubts, you can just post if you want more explanation of a particular question. Okay, so there is a provision there in our app to ask your doubts. Okay, so you can ask, you can take a picture of that question, or you can ask in whatever method then I will respond to that one. Okay, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed my lessons. See you on next lesson. Okay, thank you.